Hello, friends. I am Tom Downey here to discuss what's going on around the NFL. And the number one story out there still continues to remain Aaron Rodgers and what's going to happen with Green Bay. And in what I would argue is borderline peak 2021, the reason why Aaron Rodgers is going to stick around in Green Bay, he renewed his membership at Green Bay Country Club, the golf course there. Meaning, why would you renew if you weren't gonna play there this year? If you weren't gonna be in Green Bay, right? I mean, I get it, right? It does make some sense. Now, maybe this is one of those auto pay situations where you had it set up on your credit card and then you forgot to turn it off and you got charged extra. Maybe that's what's going on here. Also, it's only like, I think, $7,000 for renewal for each year. So it's a drop in the bucket for Aaron Rodgers. It's like going out to eat for most people. You know, it's weird. Jay Glazer says, hey, Rodgers wants out. The drama's going to continue. And now we're leaning on reports of Rodgers renewing his membership at the country club as evidence as to why he will be sticking around. It's weird, right? It's also weird in general to be having this conversation on any player who just had the year that Aaron Rodgers had. A remarkable, incredible, nothing short of spectacular year, right? 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He was the clear-cut MVP. And this was a return to form, if not, frankly, one of the best years ever for Aaron Rodgers. For Green Bay, they do share some responsibility in this. When they drafted Jordan Love and the other moves they've made over the years have not sat well with Aaron Rodgers. And it should be abundantly clear as we sit right now that Rodgers is not happy. He is upset with several things that have gone down. And there's been some buzz of, Green Bay offered a new contract. Without knowing the details, though, that doesn't mean anything to me. If there was no more guaranteed money or was short-term guaranteed money, he's going to say no. And there's also this recently said by Jay Glazer, who NFL insider, right? Quote, I know he still wants out. Without a doubt. Absolutely still wants out. They didn't suddenly come out and insult him and say, okay, now it's fixed. The next big timeline, benchmark, whatever you want to call it there, the next big notable point for Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers comes at the beginning of training camp. If Aaron Rodgers is there, everything's fine. If not, there's going to be some problems here. Now, we do have some updated Week 1 odds for Rodgers. Green Bay, still the favorite, minus 220. Denver, plus 175. The Raiders have gone up. They're plus 700 now. That's better odds. The Browns, plus 1,000. They have Baker Mayfield, but they were linked, whatever. Then a massive cliff here. The Saints, plus 2,800. Washington, by the way, they should make a move. They should go get him. They would be the NFC favorites with him. They're also plus 2,800. Miami, Carolina, and the Chargers make no sense, but they're also there at plus 4,000. So make your predictions, folks. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers will end up playing in 2021? Get your votes in for me in the comment section. Is it Green Bay, Denver, or maybe somewhere else? Let's chat trade now here on a rather, I'm going to call it interesting trade idea involving the New Orleans Saints and the Baltimore Ravens. So Bleacher Report did an article, one trade for every NFL team. A lot of them were pretty bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There were some just god-awful trades in there. It makes sense for one of the two teams. I think the Ravens side, I get it. They go all in, right? On this year, you go get Michael Thomas. You go all in. You pair him on the outside with Rashad Bateman, Watkins, Brown. You're going to try and win a Super Bowl this year. The problem is, despite the occasional rumbling of a Michael Thomas trade rumor, it doesn't actually save any money for New Orleans. In total, about $4 million over 2 years. You will not get a fraction of a player as good as Michael Thomas by saving $4 million over 2 seasons. Here was the trade idea, though, from Bleacher Report. The Saints get a first-round pick this year and a second-round pick next year in exchange for Michael Thomas. So who says no? S for the Saints, R for the Ravens. If New Orleans, and we'll spend some time on each side of this here, if New Orleans wanted to blow it all up, this would make sense. If they don't, and I don't think that they do, I'm not sure it does make sense. So get your votes in. S for the Saints, R for the Ravens. I actually like it quite a bit from the Ravens' standpoint. They've got 3 receivers they could start. Marquise Brown, Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman, in whatever order you wanted them to go in. Michael Thomas comes in and gives them a legitimate number 1 receiver. Watkins or Bateman can be wide receiver 4. Marquise Brown can live in the slot. Michael Thomas gets to be the slant boy, whatever. He'd fit pretty well, I think, with Lamar Jackson. I think the trade value is about right because even though Michael Thomas only played in 7 games last year, he was injured, he was never quite right, I think we would still mostly be in agreement that Michael Thomas is one of the premier receivers in the NFL. Now, Drew Brees, even in 2019, is a better passer than what Lamar Jackson is. And I don't know if Michael Thomas would quite be able to go for over 100 yards per game with the Ravens in the same way he did for the Saints. But he's awesome. And for New Orleans, by the way, folks, if they're trying to win football games, they can't trade Michael Thomas. Their number 1 receiver would then be Traquan Smith. Now, maybe a different package could include Marquise Brown going to the Saints to help them out at receiver, free up snaps for Watkins and Bateman. I guess that makes some sense. But I think the Saints would never do this deal. Not right now. Maybe if it's a disaster this year and they want to rebuild and blow it all up, they could revisit. But for a team trying to win right now, the Saints need Michael Thomas. So because of that, I don't think New Orleans would have any real interest in going out and trading away Michael Thomas. Yes, a first and a second is pretty decent value, more than Julio Jones, but the timing isn't right for me. Folks, the NBA Draft Lottery will be live on Chat Sports tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The playoffs still going on, but it's lottery time. We figure out what teams are picking where. There could be some massive changes. Maybe the Pistons don't get the number 1 overall pick. Maybe they fall. Maybe the Warriors pick, or the Timberwolves pick, which is set to go to the Warriors. Top 3 protected. Maybe it gets flipped to the Warriors if it's not top 3. There's a lot of drama that's going to go on Tuesday night. If you want to join us for it, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's check in now on Xavien Howard. What is going on with the Dolphins superstar cornerback? The subject of a holdout and trade rumors and drama, all of it. The Miami Herald wrote this recently, that unless the Dolphins and Howard can figure this out, a trade very much is possible. It would appear that Howard is digging in at least a little bit right now and really does want a new deal or else. Now, Howard wants that new deal for a variety of reasons. The Dolphins, for reasons we'll get into in a second that do make sense, are hesitant right now to actually restructure that contract. What Howard wants, I think, at minimum, is to not be the second highest paid corner on his own team. Byron Jones came in, got $16.5 million. He and Xavien Howard formed the best 1-2 punch at corner in the entire NFL. Allowed them to play a bunch of man coverage, and the defense balled out. But Howard is now no longer a top 5 corner. At the time, when he signed his deal, he was. But now he's like buying Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, Trey White, Darius Slay. Now, I don't think that Xavien Howard wants Marlon Humphrey type of money. I think he'd settle for some more guarantees and $16.75 million per year. If that's the case, I'm intrigued from Miami's standpoint. But there's also the matter of setting a precedent here. And Brian Flores explains this quite well. He said, quote, it's a renegotiating of an extension after 1 year, and it's honestly something that hasn't been done before. I'm not saying drawing a line in the sand, but it's different players set the market every single year. And Flores is right. The reality is of life in the NFL, the latest guy ends up getting paid the most. Xavien Howard on his 5-year extension that he signed early with time left on his deal, he's got 4 years left on it. So that makes it difficult for Miami, because if they pay Howard, well, then other players might want a new deal as well. So if you're Miami, even though you don't want to, you should probably at least consider a trade if things really do turn, which I am, again, not sure they will. If he's not at training camp, it's time to consider a trade. So I got 5 destinations here that I put together. Arizona, need a corner. The exact same is true of the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they're trying to win games right now. Seattle, money's an issue, but corner is a need. Maybe they could get creative when they structure the rest of his deal. It's possible. The Jets, cornerback need-wise, maybe the biggest team in the NFL. Like, they got maybe one good corner. They are in desperate need. But I kind of doubt Miami would actually move him to the New York Jets. In-division trade seems unlikely. The dark horse team I wanted to mention here, Houston Texans. The reason? Well, before the Deshaun Watson legal issues came up, Houston allegedly wanted a player back. Xavien Howard would be one hell of a trade chip for Houston and Miami if they were hypothetically going to go do a deal. Because Howard, in reality, is one of the premier corners in the NFL. His play in 2020, opposite Byron Jones, was nothing short of incredible. This is, like, if he does that for 4 years in a row, like, we're talking about, like, wow, this guy's Darrelle Revis 2.0. Yards were high. He got targeted a lot because teams did not throw that much at Byron Jones. But 10 interceptions, 20 pass breakups on 50% completion percentage. That is awesome. That is profoundly impactful play out of your corner. There's a reason why he's asking now to get a bigger contract. It kind of does make some sense. Now, if Miami were to move move Xavien Howard, they would be able to figure it out. They have Byron Jones. Justin Coleman's going to handle the nickel corner role. Noah Igbenogany, they brought in one of the McCourty brothers. Nick Needham as well. It's not the same as having Howard out there. I don't want, and I don't think Miami wants, to have to move Xavien Howard. But if he is firm on his I want a new deal, it gets a little bit dicey. So with that in mind, make your predictions for me. What do you believe the Dolphins will end up doing with Xavien Howard? Type in T for trade, or you can type in K for keep. I'm going to bet keep, but I think it's a good idea to at least keep that in mind, that there might be some problems coming for Howard and Miami once we get to training camp. If you guys want the best NFL videos on the internet, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. It's not just NFL videos, though, folks. We also cover heavily in-depth the NBA here at Chat Sports. If you want to be a part of our live NBA Draft Lottery show, it's on Tuesday. Tuesday night, we'll be live for it, folks. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Join us for off-season coverage all year long. From Josh Allen now, let's hit him here on today's video. The Buffalo Bills are in a unique situation right now with Josh Allen. He is coming off a massive breakout season, and there is a report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that Allen is willing to help on his extension. Now, he also mentioned, Fowler, that he would not take a significant discount. And that's a big deal for Buffalo because Josh Allen's contract, folks, is going to be a massive one. Now, if he wants to help via structure, that makes things easier on Buffalo. Maybe go 5 years, for example, instead of the recent trend of 4. But my expectation for Josh Allen is he becomes, at minimum, depending on when this deal gets signed, a top 5 highest paid quarterback. Now, I don't know when Allen or Lamar or Baker are going to sign. In general, the most recent guy ends up getting paid the most. But I think if you're Josh Allen and you're Josh Allen's agency and his team, 2 names stick out here. Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. 40 and 39 million respectively. If Josh Allen signs a deal right now, maybe it comes in a little bit lower than those 2 because those 2 have proven their successful top-tier NFL play a little bit longer than just the 1 year from Josh Allen. But if he waits a year and plays as well as he did this season, he's going to blow by those 2. because that would put Josh Allen in the top 5 quarterback conversation, and those guys get the bag. Now, the 4-year trend has been the deal for most quarterbacks right now. The guaranteed money also matters a lot. Mahomes is kind of a unique situation where it's a rolling guarantee, so kind of ignore it. Dak got a ton of guarantees, 126 there, totally blew up the market in the long run after the Cowboys lowballed him for so long. I think that $40 million price tag, though, is the general one to keep an eye out for as it relates to Josh Allen and for the Buffalo Bills. So what would you guys do? Let's make your prediction here. Over or under? Play one of my favorite games here. Will Josh Allen get to that $40 million per year price tag? Make your predictions right now in the comments. O for over or U for under. Now, Josh Allen last year, 69.2%. There's the completion percentage rate there. Pretty nice when you think about it there. 4,500 yards. He chipped in 37 touchdowns through the air. And oh, by the way, continued to be dynamic on the ground with 400 yards and 8 scores. That is remarkable play out of the team's franchise quarterback. Now, he's only proven it truly for 1 year. Flashes previously, but this year, 2020, was the breakout year. But he's due for the new deal. And there is a matter of a kind of a sort of ticking clock here. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, all due for new contracts, had their 5th year's options picked up. If Josh Allen signs first, maybe Lamar and Baker take a little bit more, or pretty similar contracts. Or if the Bills wait for Lamar and Baker, Allen's getting more than all of those guys. Those 3 are tied together in terms of their contract negotiations. And oh, by the way, got to keep an eye out for Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson as well. What I'm saying is this. The longer the Bills wait to do their deal, the more expensive it becomes in the long run to pay Josh Allen. So if they're convinced he's the guy, they're probably better served paying him as soon as possible.